Finger licking good, yeah, yeah. Got me in the mood for sharing. Come and join the party at KFC. Get a sing a sandwich, I take a bite. It's the best flavor, best vibes. Get a bucket with your friends, pass it to the left, and have the best time of your life. Finger licking good, yeah, yeah. Got me in the mood for sharing. Come and join the party at KFC, at KFC.
Dave's West Indian Imports is a wholesaler of all types of seafood with their own processing plant. Dave supplies supermarkets, restaurants, hotels, and bars. Place your orders now on telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. With fresh seafood daily, Dave's offers custom cuts of your choice: snapper, trout, banger, gillback, shrimp, crab, and more. Order today. Dave's, Guyana's largest exporter to the USA.
Surprise your family today with a nice vanilla-flavored cake made with Maid Marian cake flour. It's perfect for the birthday, anniversary, special occasion, or just celebrating the joy of having your family together. So get a pack or two of Maid Marian cake flour to make that moist, fluffy, vanilla-flavored sponge cake, donut-shaped cakes, Swiss rolls, and other delicious baked goods. Bring on the smiles with Maid Marian cake flour. Made and packaged not by hand by Nomilco, the National Milling Company of Guyana.
National Milling Company of Guyana.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, Qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
It's here! Igloo Ice Cream Fruit Bars. 4 mouth-watering flavors. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and soursop. A beautiful combination of real fruit and igloo ice cream. Go old school with Fluty Popsicle. Classic flavors and refreshing goodness. Available at Igloo outlets and all your favorite shops. You don't leave anything to chance. Every day you click it, lock it, and mask up. Now press, rub, and wash with Sterling Super Soap. Our antibacterial formula eliminates 99.9% of all germs and bacteria. Clean and moisturize your hands with 4 refreshing and rejuvenating fragrances. Get super clean with Sterling Super Soap.
Yeah, well, good evening. It's Tuesday, February 24th, the day after Mashramani 2026, as Guyana celebrated their 56th year as a republic. Good evening to everybody. I'm Sean Devers, welcoming you to another program of the Sean Devers Sports Watch. I'm here in the studio, and on Zoom is Mali Richards, the son of former West Indies captain, the great Sir Vivian Richards. He's in Grenada to do commentary on the women's game. And of course, we've got the former West Indies and Trinidad and Tobago and West Indies fast bowler, Anthony Gray. And joining us at the top of the hour, it's going to be Guyanese-born U.S. fitness trainer Basil Butcher Jr. Tonight's program comes to you with the compliments of Dave's West Indian Imports, KFC, Finger Licking Good, Nomalco, Builders Lumberyard, Sterling Products Limited, and Survival Supermarket. Good night, everybody. Well, let's go. England beat Pakistan today, almost in a fantastic finish. Pakistan getting a couple of wickets to put the pressure on England, but Harry Brook, wonderful innings, led England to become the first team to qualify for the semi-finals of this year's World Cup, beating Pakistan, as we said today. West Indies beat Zimbabwe in their first match. That was yesterday. Had a fantastic Mashramani gift. We were all on the road jamming and listening to it on the radio, watching it on TV at the various clubs. And that was fantastic. Hetty Meyer, star of the show, he's on a roll, getting 85. Powell, who I suggested should be dropped when Shepherd comes in, and he played very well, found his form. 59, Rutherford, 31 from just 13 balls, Shepherd and Holder with 21 from 10, and 13 from 14 respectively down the order, piloted West Indies to 254, just the second highest total in World Cup cricket. The highest, of course, being Sri Lanka. They made 260 against Kenya. I think that was in the 2010 World Cup when it was played in the West Indies. And Zimbabwe being bowled out for 147, and more importantly, in just 17.4 overs, Moti picking up 4 for 28, Hussain 3 for 28, and Ford continuing his impressive run in this World Cup, 2 for 24. West Indies play South Africa on Thursday morning at 5:30, and that's going to be a big match. To my mind, South Africa, the hardest team for the West Indies to beat. Many people are saying, including Red Sparrow last Tuesday night, he said India's going to go all the way. But I believe that India would be an easier team to beat than South Africa. And of course, the other match on Thursday, India and Zimbabwe, and that starts at 9:30 in the morning. On Sunday, March 1, to round off the Group C, Zimbabwe plays South Africa at 5:30 a.m. and India play the West Indies at 9:30 on Sunday morning. In other news, West Indies versus Sri Lanka women. The third ODI starts tomorrow. West Indies down 2-0 to Sri Lanka, and the T20 starts on Saturday, and then it continue on Sunday and conclude on Tuesday. Janelle Glasgow has gotten 2 half centuries so far. She's a 22-year-old from the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And well, as I said, West Indies give all Guyanese a great Mashramani gift. And in case you're wondering what is Mashramani, Anthony Gray comes from Carnival Country, and that's the Carnival of Guyana. It's like Carnival Monday. People go down the streets gyrating, and there are float parades and so on. Good evening to you, Mali Richards. Good evening to you, Tony Gray.
Good evening, Sean. Good evening to your viewers.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
All right, let's ask Mali first. How is the tournament going? West Indies women not doing too well. Stephanie Taylor getting 66. This girl, she's gotten 2 half centuries so far. Janelle Glasgow from St. Vincent. How good is she?
She's what we've seen from young Glasgow so far has been quite encouraging. If you think back, the West Indies have been struggling with their main players being injured and out over the last 12, 24 months. You think of Dutton, you think of the injuries that Taylor would have been carrying as well. You think of Hayley Matthews with that shoulder injury actually being out of our cricket for about 8 months or so. So they were looking to to try and find young players and almost expand this talent pool. And so far, Janila Glasgow has put her hand up. It's been a little disappointing that maybe the senior players of this West Indian team haven't really come to the party yet, apart from a Stephanie Taylor. But in terms of just another young batter looking like they've got the goods to contribute consistently towards the West Indies is quite encouraging, Sean.
And the good thing is that she's only 22 years of age. They
Yes.
lost the first ODI and they lost the second ODI. What did they do wrong in those two matches? Of course, tomorrow they've got a chance to get to 2-1 if they win.
Yes. Yes. To be honest, I've got to give a lot of credit to the Sri Lankans. I've been quite impressed with the way they've read the conditions here in the West Indies and adapted to the conditions. I think they're 2-0 ahead because they've done all three facets of the game a little bit better than the West Indies. They're a little fitter. So when they're batting in particular, they hit the balls in their gaps. They run a lot of ones and twos, maybe not blessed with the same amount of power as a few of the West Indians, but they do it in a different way. They hit the ball in the gaps. It's more low-risk scoring for the Sri Lankans. They fielded exceptionally, caught very well indeed. And really and truly, the West Indies, even though they've had chances to win both games, the Sri Lankans are the team that have just held their nerve a bit better, hence the 2-0 lead. The first series win for Sri Lanka in the West Indies since 2002-03, over 22 years.
Yeah, Tony, you've been following the women's series against Sri Lanka?
No, not really. I'm sorry. But you have an excellent analyst there in Mali Richards, who I admire quite much. And I listened to him during the commentary and that sort of thing. He's really very good and analytical.
Yes, he's one of the best I've worked with, ever.
Thank you.
You got your mic muted, Tony?
No, it's there.
Okay, I'm hearing you
As I said,
now.
I've not followed the women's game, but I'll tell you something. When you're looking at women's cricket and you look at the women's cricket throughout the world, the Australians are to be admired. You have the English girls. They seem to have good athleticism. So if we're looking for women cricketers, and we have had some good examples. Hayley Matthews, one of them. You have DeAndre Dutton, a very good athlete. We have to look for athletes, first of all, from early age, and then divert them into cricket. There has to be a specific program. And as I mentioned before, Sean, is that, we at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, we have a MOU signed with Samuel Badre, and we are going to start a women's program next year. The same concept of the males program in the University of Trinidad and Tobago. So we recognize that West Indies cricket needs help, especially in the women's department, and we need to build more and more teams in a professional manner so that they will be able to make that transition from stage to stage and then represent us in a most comprehensive way at the highest level of the game.
And I would go further to say Trinidad and Tobago arguably has the best women's system in the Caribbean. But it's great to see a girl from St. Vincent and the Grenadines doing so well in this series.
Well, you have to look at the scouting process. There's talent all over the place. I mean, if you look at the male side of things, you got a guy coming from Baracara, and all of a sudden he is one of the rising stars in world cricket, defeating the great Australians with his bowling. It wasn't a fluke in Australia. So there are going to be women who have the talent, but they need an encouragement, and obviously they need people around them who have the astuteness, the experience, and the certification, qualification to help them along. Go ahead, Mali.
No, you're right. And in terms of, I just wanted to pick up a little on on the West Indian side, because we know a lot of work has been taking place, especially in Antigua. They've been trying to organize a lot more camps. And I've seen the improvement in the girls in this series. I have. But the Sri Lankans have just been slightly better. The West Indies have shown a lot of athleticism as well. There are a few players that are still being carried in the field, and that will have to be addressed at some point. But I've seen the improvement, but they just need to do a little bit more and improve as a bit more as well to go along with what we've seen from the Sri Lankans, because their standard is very high.
Well, our pool is not as big as the island of Sri Lanka or most other cricket nations. We've got a small pool, especially of female cricketers, and there are so many sociological problems with the female cricket. The parents don't want to send them to play cricket, and all of these negative connotations to female cricket. What can we do to get more females in the pool playing cricket?
It has to start from primary schools. I mean, if we look at the male system of doing things years ago, we had an influx of primary school, students playing cricket. We have to get to the principals first of all, because that is the system that will create an influx of motivation, first of all, and then talent. The primary school system is there already, cemented there already. But we have to get ways and means and time to have programs in each of the schools, and then, bring it to the stage where the communities are also involved, and then zonal teams, national teams, and so on. So the systems are there already. It's just to boost it up. And we have to encourage young girls to play the game and get their parents to understand that if they are involved in sport in general, and specifically cricket, they will holistically develop, because they will divert themselves away from crimes and that sort of thing. So we have to encourage the parents, because the parents are the ones that are leaders in their homes, and they have to understand the importance of sport. Now, women's cricket is also very important, because women are bringing the children into the world. So if they play cricket, that will enhance generation marketing, and all these little children will want to play cricket because their mothers play, their fathers play, and so on. So there's a huge benefit to tackling the primary school system and encouraging young girls to play cricket where that is concerned.
And also, Mali, how would you want the girls to play in the primary schools and the secondary schools? With a normal hard ball or with a softer, like those plastic balls?
Well, you'd start them out in the same way where you'd start the boys. A lot of the boys started out playing with the softer ball, kiddie cricket, getting involved in that way. But just to take on the point that Mr. Gray was saying, it's about getting them involved as early as possible, right? And what we've seen in the West Indies, especially in the last 20 years or so of women's cricket, a lot of these girls are learning the game at the international level. And that has to change. You look at their records. Shemaine Campbell, she's played over 130 games for the West Indies, but because she's had to learn the game at the international level, it's taken her a while in order to get to the grips of what the international game actually is all about. So, as Mr. Gray said, it's about getting them involved as early as possible, involving the parents, because the parents are key, and prioritizing getting girls involved in cricket as well.
All right, let's go for a short pause for business calls, and then we'll be right back.
We touch everything. Tables, toys, countertops, door handles, sinks. Mighty Foam's all-purpose cleaner is my secret weapon. Easy and effective with no sticky residue. Mighty Foam All-Purpose Cleaner. Enjoy all of life's textures.
Craving a meal that's big on flavor but doesn't break the bank? KFC has got you covered with the KFC 3-piece meal deal. Get 3 pieces of chicken, fries, mac and cheese, a biscuit, and a drink. All for just $2,200. It's the perfect deal, available every day. Enjoy your 3-piece meal deal at KFC today. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
For more than 3 decades, Dave's West Indian Imports has been supplying the demands of Guyanese living in the USA with their favorite Guyanese products: Pomeroon coconut water, fresh fish, shrimp and crab, champion chow mein, icy sodas, golden cream margarine, wiri wiri pepper, katahar and calves rib, just to name a few. If you have family from Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, Dave's has them covered too. 9807 97th Avenue, Ozone Park, New York, only 5 minutes away from Liberty Avenue. 1808 Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill, New York. 7505 New Hampshire Avenue, Tacoma Park, Maryland. The Caribbean market. Dave's West Indian Imports, supplying the best of the Caribbean to the USA.
Igloo sugar-free ice cream. Sugar-free ice cream.
Impossible that you're singing about ice cream without added sugar right now. I mean, how's that going to taste?
It's the best, most delicious I've ever tasted. The premium French vanilla flavor is so rich and velvety. Plus, my gym instructor approves. It's great for my weight loss.
So it's really delicious? Like you aren't kidding me? The children! No added sugar could be healthier for them. And Grandpa Glenn, with his diabetic condition. You mean he could finally enjoy desserts after all these years? I have to go. I have to get this.
Grab Igloo's sugar-free ice cream before she does.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, Qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you and now available nationwide. Another convenient size packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here. The 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
Now Milko, National Milling Company of Guyana.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the Sean Dever Sports Watch. Just reminding you that Survival Supermarket has recently opened a new branch at Diamond in addition to their Sheriff Street headquarters. So that's the news for you now. You can shop on the East Bank at Survival Supermarket in the village of Diamond. And someone just reminded me that tell the people that Berbice won the GCB on the 16 Intercounty 50-over tournament by beating Demerara as cricket returned to border. Intercounty cricket returned to border for the first time in 2 years, and this happened on Saturday. Berbice, the defending champions, they've got a lot of good programs there for youth level. Even the girls, most of them playing for Guyana, come out of Berbice, and so Berbice has got the best structure and the best system in Guyana. Mali, how do you see the... Well, we're looking at the match tomorrow, but we've already lost the series. The most we can do is 1-2. So let's look at now the T20 series. How do you think West Indies' chances would be in such a shorter format?
Well, I think the West Indies will be looking to find combinations that they'll be looking to take into the World Cup. with a World Cup, T20 World Cup this year, slightly different to what's happening in the ODI format. That World Cup is until 2029. Even though points are available now for direct qualification, I think T20 is probably more of a priority. So I think they'll take this. They should take it as serious as possible. Not saying they didn't take the ODI series seriously, but they've got to be looking to find the combinations that they're taking into this T20 World Cup this year. As we said, we've seen Glasgow put her hand up in terms of looking like someone capable of taking on some responsibility in terms of run scoring. Deandra Dottin's back. Hayley Matthews is back as well. Stephanie Taylor, it must be said, she's looking very fit. She looked extremely fit in that first ODI, running between the wickets, fielding the way she threw her body around. She ended up carrying a bit of an injury, picking up an injury, in that game. And I was a bit worried for her based on what we would have seen in the past couple of years. But then she came out and she was fit and rearing to go again in the second ODI. So that's been encouraging. Not sure if she'll make it tomorrow, but in terms of the T20s, it's all about the World Cup and trying to find the combinations and the best combination possible going forward.
Well, you spoke about white ball cricket, but here's the thing. In June and maybe May, June, the West Indies are going to play Test cricket for the first time since 2006. That's the last time.
I'm not sure. I think that Test match may have been aborted, Sean, based on what I'm hearing. I think it's only an ODI and T20 series now between Australia and West.
And they're still going to South Africa to play another Test match there?
Possibly, but I know for sure at this point in time in the West Indies, I'm not sure if that match is in place. I think it's just an ODI and
any official reason for that? Mali?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not honestly sure. I think one of the things could be, I don't know if we're just quite ready at this stage to play Test cricket.
But that was what I was going to ask you for. About.
I think that could be one of the main issues. Considering that most of these girls would have not played any red ball cricket. They've been accustomed to playing white ball cricket. And it's apart from Australia and India and the South Africas of this world. They're the only ones that really managed to play any Test cricket at all in the women's game.
Yeah, let me just come in here. Yeah, I agree with that, Mali. I think that, when you look at what's happening in the one-day scenario and not being able to concentrate for a long period of time, it's because of what they do or don't get to do here in the Caribbean. So to push it to a 5-day Test match, if it's going to be 5 days of Test match cricket, it's asking a lot of our women. So I think that we have to start playing at least 3 or 4 day cricket when it comes to our women to really give them that temperament, because we've seen it in the males game too, that we are much better, the shorter version of the game. Look at the World Cup right now. We are doing excellently because we are programmed that way. And a psyche that has been developed over the years because we have done the wrong things at the school level. We have shortened the games. We played a lot of T20 cricket in schools. So the temperament cannot be built. So the same thing that we have to do with the ladies, or before that, the girls. We have to build the concentration levels by not just playing T20 cricket or 50-over cricket. We have to play 2-day cricket and so on, so that when they get up to international cricket, they can play Test match cricket with the skills and the game awareness skills, the physical skills, the technical skills, and the game awareness skills over a long period of time. So I think that we have, when it comes to the men, have miseducated boys and young men very early, so it makes it difficult for us to now shine consistently in Test match cricket.
And I know,
100%.
I know, Tony, you're a coach. Would you teach youngsters to reverse sweep, scoop sweep, paddle sweep, hit the ball at the back of the keeper and all these fancy shots that we play in 2020 cricket? or would you still teach them the basics? Because 2020 cricket, whether we like it or not, it's taking over.
Well, the conventional shots, I asked that question during commentary, is the reverse sweep a conventional shot now? Because you've seen it done
in
generally.
Test cricket, yeah.
Right, well, right. So you have to teach the basics, first of all, the rudiments of the game, make sure that is cemented at an early age, and strategically do so too, because a lot of times coaches don't strategically do things in accordance to who they're coaching. And then you have to teach all types of shots, because that's a part of the international landscape now. So, for example, Ruston Chase is a fantastic example of the misconception that people had that he was not a T20 cricketer, first of all. He became a substitute in CPL, went on to the following year and performed very, very well. And he has taken it from there. And now he is a lot more adept at playing spinners, because he has developed the shots, the reverse sweep, the normal sweep shot that we don't seem to play consistently against a spin. And he's more adept at playing the spinners now. So it should be taught, but the rudiments has to be taught first, and then you add layers to the education of the child, where shots is concerned, where technique is concerned, and then game awareness skills.
Mali, when you were growing up playing under 19 cricket and you played first class cricket with Leeward, of course you've got a very illustrious father. To my mind, the best batter in the West Indies ever. Sir Vivian Richards, what did he tell you when you were growing up in terms, there wasn't 2020 cricket in those days, but what did he tell you? Defend, don't get out and then score runs, protect your wicket, or score runs?
No, it was all about looking to score. You're looking to score, you're looking to be aggressive, but at the same time, when defending, you're defending. When you're playing an attacking stroke, you're playing an attacking stroke. It's never in between.
So you're playing each ball on its merit then?
On its merit, yes. You're never defending, still trying to score. You know what I mean? If you're playing a defensive stroke, it's a defensive stroke. It was all about respecting the game, respecting bowlers, trying to read the conditions as well as possible, and playing in that manner. I think a lot of those same adages apply today to the game. You know, it's all about watching the ball first and foremost as a batsman. If you're not watching the ball, then nothing can happen.
Because when you look at how Shea Hope bats, it's not much different from red ball cricket. He finds the gaps, he caresses the ball, he hits the bad ball for six.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just an extension of the longer format of the game. You know, you may be playing more aggressive strokes, but it's all about the technique, still trying to play cricket strokes. You know, Mr. Gray mentioned Ruston Chase. He's a perfect example of someone like that. You know, he came into the prominence playing test cricket for a long time. It looked like he would have been our best test player. Kind of fell off the boil, but then he made a decision that, hey, I've got to try and turn myself into a decent white ball player in order to develop my game, and he's done so as well. So it's all about trying to adapt. You know, the modern game, you know, things are changing fast, but a lot of the old adages still apply. The basics, the foundation, looking to assess conditions, playing smart, going with the spin as opposed to going against. A lot of the old adages apply today. You know, the game has moved on, but like I said, a lot of the things have stayed the same.
Right, that's an excellent, that's 1 minute, Sean. That's an excellent statement that people don't realize. The principle of the game would not change. The principles of success would not change. You talk about Sir Vivian Richards, an absolutely brilliant cricketer, but a dedicated cricketer too. These are the things that we don't talk about. And a lot of the learnings of the past was done unintentionally. Right? The lifestyle that Sir Vivian Richards went through, the fact that he played World Cup qualifiers for Antigua football, I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shows that what we now call cross training, which is a science, he did it he did it. He did, unintentionally. So his lifestyle on the beach and that sort of thing, his physical strength, the balance that he had was amazing. So we have not done research on somebody like Sir Vivian Richards. So we are losing the education of the past. And we have a starting over syndrome because we have not learned from the past. Now, what Darren Sammy is doing now, which I really admire, is that he's trying to replicate what he did in 2016 and 2012, where the structure of the team is concerned. Obviously, you had spinners like Sunil Ryan and Samuel Badri, very frugal in the T20 game then. I don't think that Sunil Ryan played in 2016, but he played in 2012. So we have great spinners now, very good spinners, efficient spinners who can bat a bit. So it's compensatory. But Darren Sammy is replicating everything. And the sports psychologist says that when you have success, you replicate things and add layers to it. No, we didn't do that when we had a dominant side for over 15 years because we were ignorant of what we accomplished, why we accomplished it, and we disintegrated all the systems. So now we're always trying to play catch up in the one-day scenario and also in test match scenario.
All right, we've been joined by US-based Guyanese fitness trainer Basil Butcher Jr., and we are going to change the topic now. We're going to talk about the World Cup and what we need to do, how we need to do it, and so on. Mali Richards, you're going to stay with us for this segment?
I'll stay for a few minutes, yeah.
All right, good. Ruston Chase, he was replaced by Shepherd, but I think, that's just my humble opinion, that we need 3 spinners in India, especially when we come against the left-handers. And Ruston Chase is our only off spinner. How would you think about the team for the South Africa match, or you wouldn't change a winning side? Mali.
Well, this is the thing, horses for courses, right? And that's where I think Darren Sammy is at this point in time. You saw Shepherd come back in. I think if conditions suit Chase coming back in, I think he will, regardless of the fact that the West Indies have won all the games so far. I think that will be the case. It's just for who. And it must be said, it's a good dilemma to be faced with. The first in a long time where we actually feel like the West Indies have multiple options. And whatever they choose at the stage they're at right now and the form that they're in, everyone's expected to come in and perform. Be it whatever conditions. So I think it's for the first time in a long time we have some good selection dilemmas in this World Cup. And I think Chase, I think he should come back in. It's either for, in my opinion, a Jason Holder or even a Romario Shepherd. I've heard Matthew Ford, but based on what we've seen from Ford and that economy rate, I think that would be a big call to leave him out in the next game. But who knows? But I think it's someone in that region. Shamar Joseph as well. He's caught, he's fielded well. Maybe he hasn't bowled as well as we'd like. He picked up a few wickets in a couple of games previously, but I think he as well, even though he has that extra pace, sometimes that pace gets nullified in India on Indian wickets. So good selection dilemmas for the West Indies.
Tony?
Yeah, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum that Darren Sammy now faces. As Mali rightly said, it's not an easy thing to, make decisions when things are going this well. There's talk about Brandon King not giving you this type of starts. And, I think that we can perhaps look at things because we're ignorant of what is happening in practice matches and practice and that sort of thing. Now, Darren Sammy would be seeing him in practice, to see how well he hitting the ball and that sort of thing. But in my estimation, I think that he's become a very frustrated man. He's become very limited on the onside, and he wants bowlers to bowl to his strengths, which is to play through the offside. He's tailing away to the leg side. So I think that he is confuffled. And being lacking in confidence is magnified by the other batsmen, other players on your team making some wonderful contributions. So it will play in his mind. But Darren Sammy has to make a decision with Brandon King. To me, it's a little too late to change things now. But Roston Chase, to me, is the glue of the team. He plays multiple roles.
Yeah.
And, you know, he should come in against South Africa and India because of the left arm. I don't really go on matchups too much with left arm, right arm combination. I go on abilities first of all. And then if the abilities are equal, then you choose left arm, right arm combinations. But Roston Chase, very intelligent player, as Powell has shown, as everyone has shown, very, very impressive effort thus far.
Yeah, Basil, welcome to the program again.
Thank you. Good evening to the panelists and your listeners and viewers. Look, for me, Chase has to play. I was shocked that Chase did not play in the last match, and in my view, we dodged the bullet because had Mr. Hetmeyer, that guy held that sitter, I on 9, we had 31 for 3, and we did a consolidation, man, and Chase is sitting down in the vest. We would have been in some serious trouble, right? And I am not going to risk that again because Zimbabwe is not South Africa. True. South Africa is the best team in the tournament on paper and the way they play. They have the best bowling attack. And thirdly, this will be South Africa's 4th match at that stadium. So they are they understand the conditions, etc., etc. Right? And so I want to make sure I have my consolidation on there because I mean, let me tell you, when the ball went up in the air with Mr. Hetmeyer, my heart skip a few beats because I'm looking at 31 for 3 and no Chase there because I went back because we're having this debate about Chase, right? I went back and I looked at all of Chase's scores in his last 4 matches. And then I even went further. I looked at when he came into bat. What was the situation? Every time in his last 4 matches he came into bat, we were in trouble. And he took us out of trouble. When he got out, he consolidated the inning. So that role is going to be very important as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm a West Indian fan. But I feel South Africa got the edge on us. I give them the edge. We lose that game. The game against India is going to be a quarterfinal game because the winner of that game will be going to the semis. And India already believe they're going to the semis because I saw Mr. Gavaskar on a podcast already. This is after South Africa demolished them on a podcast. India will be in the semi. So he is looking past West Indies. And I hope Mr. Sammy could get that podcasting and put it up so the players could see that India has no respect for the West Indies team. They're looking past West Indies and saying they're going through the semifinals, right?
But there's one thing, Basil. When we look at South Africa, you're right in saying I think that they have the psychological edge because in South Africa they beat us 2-1. But in addition to that, I think they had a sterner test more than us during the course of the tournament. A double super over against Afghanistan shows that they have the propensity and the ability to climb psychological hurdles. So they will be a bit sharper. The fact that they annihilated the Indians, just 111, that fantastic batting side, the #1 ranked team in ICC T20s, and destroy them like that. They are coming with the buoyancy and the confidence to do damage. But we also have that confidence level, having destroyed Zimbabwe. 107 runs is a huge win by any team in T20.
Yeah, and I want to add this. When I went that game you just brought up again against Afghanistan, with South Africa winning that game, what it said to me, that the confidence that they will take, that we can win any game from any position. that game gave them that confidence, right? And you know the whole, and I think too, what that game also did for them, they got this Monica and South African teams. They always choke when the pressure on them won. I think that game also took kind of
a lot of
that monkey off of their back. Because in past years, South Africa would have folded. Right?
Yeah, but they won the Test Championship, so that
so they've lifted that off.
Right, and remember, these guys now, a lot of them have played Test match cricket, so they would come with a different mentality.
And I think also Tony and Mali and Sean, this South Africa team, we cannot take for granted. This thing is still burning them, losing that close game against India in the finals in Barbados. I mean, that thing is still, so that is something I'm sure that is driving them, because most of these guys on the team, barring Rickleton, probably at Bosch, everybody else was in the team in Barbados, right? And we saw guys like Miller crying on his wife's shoulder after the match. So I mean, and it was apropos in that over that Miller, the second super over, that Miller was the one that did the serious damage to get them to 24 and almost throw it away, But he was the one that took the 2 catches too.
Yeah, but South Africa had a combination of things. I think that when you look at things more profoundly, and the Indian team, they have not been, the batting is strong on paper because of IPL, but they have not comprehensively prepared. And I think that because the Indian cricketer who represents India, in India, home advantage is home disadvantage. We saw that with Sri Lanka too. So they are under pressure from the start. But when you look at the South Africans, the South Africans play, a lot of them play IPL cricket. They travel the world and play cricket all over the place. I think that there's a new environment in South Africa. Buvama, for example, have helped where that is concerned. You're looking at the captain, Makram. He is cool and calm, very tactically sound, and they have a strong batting lineup. They have an excellent spinner in Maharaj, and they have some quality fast bowlers. I am concerned about Jansen.
Yeah, and Tony and Mali, in that game against India, the thing that most impressed me about them was all the fast bowlers were on song. All of them were on song.
All of them.
Except
Everyone.
for, Rabada ended up, the guy hitting 2 sixes, but that was what we call garbage time. The game was already done, right? But all of them, to see all of them bowling on song like that is, they can be a tough team for us to
Ngidi has been very frugal. Ngidi has been skilled and brilliant.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying that we don't have a chance against South Africa.
We could beat them. Yeah.
I mean, this T20 cricket on any given day. Because look, Zimbabwe dismantled Australia, then went and beat Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, right? But I'm more looking forward. I'm looking forward for Sunday game, because for them Indians, it was so sweet that West Indies could send them home packing.
Mali,
Babaz, let me ask you a question. West Indies, just to go back to the West Indies combination, who do you think is most likely to sit South Africa?
Look, I think Shepherd gonna miss out. We've been having this debate about King, and I said, look, when I look at the option, Charles King. I mean, form and all of these things. I look at it more from a perspective, and Tony's point is very well taken. The way King looking to just back away to the leg side and just to access the offside, that he needs to open up both sides of the field, But when I look at Charles and King, and I look at the two of them, I gotta pick King, right? And I told somebody earlier today, look at England and Josh Butler, and he said, "Oh, you could compare Butler." I said, "No, I'm not comparing Butler. But if we talk in the West from a West Indies perspective, King is our best opener. All due respect to Shea Hope,
and he has the best technique.
Yes, Shea Hope is now batting opening in this World Cup. So King has been our best opener, like Butler has been the best opener for England, right? You think England is even considering dropping Butler? Not at all. Similarly, look at India, Mr. Sharma.
Yeah.
He did not trouble the scorers for 3 straight games. He finally troubled them against South Africa with 15. I don't think India's going to drop him neither, and he doesn't have a long track record, you know.
Right. Well, he's been good. He's been very good.
He is their best option to open. And I think a lot of people are looking at this thing like, oh, King failing. And I asked the question, we just scored 254 runs. And you crying about King. No, if King was not performing and it was something we seen through, that would have been, for me, a greater concern, right? And I think also the fast bowling attack, King likes fast. He plays better with the ball coming onto him.
He had some good scores against South Africa in South Africa.
Yeah, he had a 50. He had a 50 against South Africa when we were there the other day. So, you know, I gotta go with King, man, and Chase gotta come into the team. So Shepherd, I think, is the one that's gonna sit out, because look, Shepherd hasn't bowled the ball since he bowled that one over against England.
All right, Mali.
He's perhaps the most frugal bowler in the whole tournament, with 3 games that he's played.
And he's got a 5-wicket haul.
He got a 5-wicket against Scotland.
And I would pick him for his batting down the order. If we stutter, he can come and hit boundaries.
So there means you're gonna drop 4 then.
No, I would drop Shamar.
You drop Shamar.
Yeah, because if he was playing, and I was not impressed with Sammy's in this regard, that he opened the bowling with Hussein and Matthew and Ford. He should have opened the bowling with Hussein and Shamar. Shamar is the quickest bowler, and he had the right to have the new ball.
But Sean, Ford needs the new ball in hand.
Yeah, Ford can't bowl.
Right. Absolutely needs the new ball in hand to be effective.
Exactly.
And then you have to look at what time the game was played. Listen, I, as a selector, as a talent scout, the first time I saw Matthew Ford, I called him at his side. He was in the Queen's Park over. I said, listen, I know players. I've worked with all these young players, Pollard and Dwayne Bravo and these guys. I know talent, and I think that you could make it to the West Indies team if you're serious about the cricket. And he had a wonderful personality. Now, if you look at him when he gets the new ball, and in T20 cricket, you really have to be doing something with the ball. It's not just about pace. You have to be doing something with the ball. This guy moves the ball both ways. He's an excellent fielder. He's improving his batting. He can play spin and pace. And you have a power hitter at the end there. So it's a real conundrum, a real hard decision for Sammy to make.
A good
Shepherd
problem.
is also performing well. So that's why I brought in this opinion about King. You know, all those players are performing well. Let's look at the pace that Shamar Joseph is bowling. He's the second fastest bowler in the whole of the tournament. You know. Bosch from South Africa is the fastest. But what we did wrong in the last, we had to maximize the strengths of the bowlers, and Ravi Rampal has done an excellent job with the bowlers. But what he did do wrong is bowl too short against the South Africans, the Zimbabweans at the end. He had to bowl the Yorkers. The lack of height that he has, he's 5'7", is a different proposition for a guy who's 6'6". He's skinny, and if he can bowl those low fall tosses, even if he's going for the Yorkers, it sometimes can be difficult to hit. So we saw him bowl too short and not in accordance to what he's supposed to do at the depth.
And let me say this.
And Chase would fill a place as a bowler also. That's why it said drop a bowler.
Okay, but you see the thing is to pace. If you notice, if a guy got genuine pace, you want a guy bowling a lot of balls, genuine pace. Archer has been at his best because Archie was bowling too much off-speed balls. You could bowl at 95 and so on, and you bowling off.
Running and hit the deck.
Because your margin, you have a wider margin of error as a guy bowling at that pace than somebody bowling slow, because you're seeing several times. I remember the guy Dubé batting against, I think it was Bosch Bosch gave him a bumper, and it was a 140 plus. And you could see he got rushed. The ball barely come off the bat, and it dropped short of the mid wicket. Right? I mean, if this was a medium pacer, that would have been inside of the.
That's right.
Right? So you know, Sean bring up an interesting to drop Shamar Joseph, but he is the only guy in the team that really got serious pace. So Sammy, as Mali said, Sammy has a conundrum here.
He does.
And I believe also that West Indies must make runs. Our bowling is not as strong as some of the other teams' bowling, and we've got to, if we make runs, we made the second highest total in any T20 bar Sri Lanka. And this is what I was looking at. Batters need to go and get 100, of course, but they had the strike rate also. Now they're on top because of the strike rate, 0.5 something, positive 5, and all the other teams are negative. But that would give us an option going forward if we finish, if we lose to South Africa, and I don't believe we'd lose to South Africa.
No, but Sean, even if we lose to South Africa, the net run rate is not gonna be an issue. That game against India is a winner takes all because both teams, I'm assuming India would beat Zimbabwe. So both teams would be one. You're assuming? Yes, I don't see Zimbabwe recovering from that shell shock.
That's right.
I don't see them recovering from that.
That's right.
West Indies have destroyed their confidence, whatever confidence they had coming in.
It's a culture shock.
Yes, West Indies have decimated them, right? So I am saying, Sean, in the event we lose to South Africa, we'll be 1-1. India will be 1-1, having beaten Zimbabwe. And so that game is not net run rate, is who win, because the winner will have 2 wins. So it's, as I said, it will be a quarter final game.
That's right. In essence, what India wants is for South Africa to beat everybody.
Yes, they're rooting. India right now is rooting hard for West Indies to lose against South Africa, because if West Indies does not beat South Africa still got Zimbabwe to play, right? And India and West Indies they will be in serious trouble because their net run rate. Now is when the net run rate will come into play with India and South Africa.
They have a
negative net run rate.
Right. The only advantage that India has is that they're playing the last game of the Super 8s.
Yes, they do.
And so they will be able to mathematically do things to know how to approach the game.
Yeah, they will play West Indies.
They're going to be playing against Zimbabwe.
No,
West Indies.
No, they'll be playing against West Indies, right? They would have played against Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe and them playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
They playing in the evening, the night game at 8:30, and South Africa game is the 4:30 game. I mean,
so our game on Thursday is what, 5:30? Our game.
Our game is 5:30, and India Zimbabwe 9:30.
Is a drier situation, right?
And it's in the afternoon. It's a day game, so it's not.
It's a day, right? Yes. So that's also a factor in picking the team, eh?
Yeah, because, and that's why I say South Africa has an edge, because they have played both day and night games at that same ground, so they understand the conditions. And you could see, for Tony, you being a former fast bowler, Blessing, when he was bowling in Sri Lanka, he could bowl the hard length because the pitch had some bounce and so on. But when he came to India, that's not the same conditions. And if you remember in his first over, he was bowling that length. He wasn't and it's until he bowled it up just a little more, which he needed to do, he became more effective, right?
That's right.
So knowing the conditions in this World Cup is a big deal, because that adjustment going from ground to ground,
it varies. Yeah.
And the Indians are already starting to complain about the surfaces, and they're in their own backyard. They want the roads that you play through the line.
No, they want the roads. the bowlers must have something in it.
Yeah.
Something in it.
But let me just say something. The Indians, you see, people have to understand something. They have lost test matches in India recently, and that's because of the Well, because they putting themselves in a hole, and the Indians are putting themselves in a hole because the other teams are playing all over the world. So, for example, in the IPL, the other teams, New Zealanders, are playing in the IPL, so they're getting accustomed to the playing conditions in India. So their home advantage has declined significantly because of that fact, because of franchise T20 cricket. So you have to understand that as a coach. And Gambia has not adjusted to that fact. We have to understand when you're coaching those international teams, what is happening internationally. The whole landscape of international cricket has changed. So when you talking about spin, players could play spin now in India and anywhere else because of the fact of the T20 cricket.
And Tony, we can't forget to Kohli, Sharma. Them is not easy guys to replace.
Right.
Those are the crunch guys. You see, like that game with West Indies coming up, and if Kohli and so was in the team, none of we would be giving West Indies the edge because the Kohli factor and the Sharma factor.
But let me ask you something, Basil. Let me ask you something. You would have done your research. Now, the Indian batsmen on this T20 World Cup team, how many of them have played Test match cricket?
Very few. I don't think any of them.
Well, right. So
they're
not comprehensively prepared.
They played a one or two at the most.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Most of their bowlers have played Test match, Bumrah and company.
Yes.
But the batsmen have not played. So when we look at that hole, that void that is to be filled after the departure of Sharma and these fellas and Kohli, it's a huge gap to fill, because of the fact that the T20 players have not played Test match cricket, so they're not comprehensively developed. The experiences from Test match cricket will help in any other format. So this team on paper looks strong because of IPL, but it's not really strong.
Go ahead, Marley.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Someone like a Virat Kohli could bat in a multitude of ways. He could assess the conditions. If it means scoring at one ball, he can do that. He can look to expand as well. They don't seem to have those kind of players in this team at this moment. It's either Ishan Kishan gets off to a flyer or he doesn't, and the like. So like you said, there's two big players missing for the Indians.
That's right. And the thing about it too, that's why the Indian Cricket Board have been insistent on their players playing Ranji Trophy. Because they saw, the way they were getting beaten in the Test cricket. These guys, they're insisting on them playing because when you got to play that cricket if you want to develop your skills.
And even Virat played Ranji Trophy this season.
And the other thing about it, I always remember Robin Singh because I worked with Robin Singh when he coached US team. And Robin Singh used to tell me in Ranji Trophy, the amount of spinners, quality spinners that you play against.
That you never even heard of.
Yes, that you would develop your skills. And I remember several years ago, Ravi Sastry making the point in commentary that the current Indian players are not as good players of spin because they don't play Ranji Trophy. And we've seen teams that taken spinners to India dominate Indian batters, which was something that we would never have thought would be the case.
Well, and I think what's different as well, sorry, Tony, what's different as well quickly is the fact that the strength of the Indian bowling is now fast bowling.
Exactly.
As opposed to spin. Yes.
Right. That's an excellent point, Mali. And the thing about it is that I remember talking to Sir Andy Roberts because he presented the under-19 winning World Cup trophy to the Indians. And he had a chance to sit with the chairman of selectors, and a selector too. And they were saying that the spinners are banned from playing T20 or any white ball cricket at under 17 level. And just at under 19 level, they allow, in fact, on the 19 level, they're allowed to play one-day cricket because that's what happens in the World Cup on the 19 tournament. So they have to protect the spinners. The spinners are not as adept as they used to be. The same thing that happened in the Caribbean In Trinidad, for example, and in Guyana, where spinners were more prominent, we don't have a Clive Butts again. We don't have the late Ranjananan, the late Clive Butts. We don't have landscape type of spinner. We're now looking at Laws, who is excellent. Mackenzie is also excellent. So these guys are excellent talents. So we had to protect them and have the captains having the knowledge of how to use them, because we want to bring back spinners of quality so that our batsmen play a good against good spin growing up at the stadium stages. That's what happens.
And Tony, you said something that I gotta bring up. People don't realize captaining a spinner is a lot different than captaining fast bowlers. And I wonder sometimes why some of our spinners have not done well at the test level is the lack of our captains having the understanding of how to manage a spin bowler, right? It's easy doing it with the faster bowlers, but the spin bowler is there's some nuances and things, field settings and all of those things. You have to be on point. And we need to groom our young captains to understand the differences in how they would they captain spinners versus captain seamers and all of those different aspects in developing their captaincy skills.
If you look at most of the old-time captains, they captain teams based on fast bowlers was their strength. So when Roger Harper was playing or Clyde Butts, I remember Mali's father in India when Botsy, that guy Harwani. Harwani got 16 wickets, Botsy got none. And Sir Viv had more players on the offside than on the onside. And Botsy was asking Desmond Haynes because the respect and maybe the fright of Sir Vivian Richards. And so Desmond Haynes said, why you don't ask him to put another man on the onside? And
Tony, were you there, Tony? Were you on that team, Tony?
Yeah, I was on that trip.
How was Viv as a captain? How was Viv as a captain?
Well, listen, a lot of times when we have leaders, we don't, as players, understand the background of leaders. I loved Sir Vivian Richards, not because he was a winning captain alone, but because he was stern.
Very stern.
I came from male leaders. My father was stern.
Right.
My football coach in Canada Senior Comprehensive was stern. So Vivian Richards didn't bother me. He inspired me because I come from that background.
Correct.
And if you read his story about his father being a prison officer,
a prison master,
and people have to understand something. Now the psyche of young people have changed. Males have changed so much because they've been brought up by their mothers.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So they can't take that. It's a different thing. So I gotta take the sternness of Sir Vivian Richards. He was stern and he was patriotic.
Yeah, I that resonates with me because my dad was like that, stern.
Right. In those days, stern
guys would come to be at my house hanging out, and when my father drive in the yard, then guys, later. Everybody.
Mali growing up not as a cricketer, as a father, how was Viv Richards?
Yeah, like you say, a lot of what you saw is what you got. He's a proud man, but at the end of the day, discipline was absolutely essential and key to everything. Be it school, be it sports, whatever you try to apply yourself to, discipline was the foundation that you're trying to.
That's right.
And he expected everybody to be dedicated and do what he was doing. And if you mocked up, you're in trouble. And I remember on the air it was, or off the air, he was telling me that in a game the Leeward Islands was playing somebody and Ignatius Cade had to go off the field. So he was wicket keeping. And Thomas Kentish was bowling off breaks. And he bowled 2 balls down the leg side. And Viv said, please bowl the ball outside the off stump. He bowled 2 more down the leg side. And Sir Viv didn't go across and said chase it, and and he said that Kentish chased the ball. That was how he was.
That's old school. That's
He
old
lived
school,
by
Sean.
example.
Yeah, you won't get away with that today, though.
No, you can't do that today at all.
No, well. It's great to look at captains throughout time.
Right.
So Frank Worrell, for example, was cool and calm and very thoughtful, but stern still. So Clive Lloyd was the same. So Vivian Richards was a different type of captain because he had a legacy to protect.
Right.
Highly patriotic. You had to understand. Yeah, you have to understand that. So I don't think that he expected. I don't think that he expected people to be like him. He expected people to be disciplined. Because when I went there, I only played 5 test matches, 25 one-days. But the environment in practice was no nonsense. In fact, I bowled at him when I got my hand broken in 1987 Reliance with India and Pakistan. I wasn't playing the first 3 games, and I don't understand why. And I went in to bowl at him, and I bowled at him to make a statement. Because I wasn't pitching up anything to him. I was pitching up. And let me tell you something, the net was fast. And little profanities here and there, but I wanted to make a statement. And he said, Tony, you're going to play against England on Monday.
And that's what
5 minutes after my hand is broken.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
Wow.
Yeah,
but that would be something. That would be something that he would respect about you. That competitive nature.
Right.
He would hold that against you at all, would he?
Yeah, that's right.
I think people misunderstand Viv by saying he wants people to be just like him. I think what he wanted you to give 100% your effort.
Give your all. Right. Give your all.
Give 100. Because that is what he did.
Yeah.
And he expects anybody under him to be. Obviously, everybody's not going to be as good as him, but you got to give me 100% every time you walk up on this field.
And he understood, I believe he understood more than most of the other captains, the culture of West Indies cricket. And that is why he got a blank check and refused to sign to go to South Africa.
That's right. He didn't go to South Africa, right. So
it was a different time. It was a different time.
Yeah,
that's the climate that they were growing up in. It creates those, that's the characters that he creates, those times. You are either pro-black, black power.
That's right. That's right.
Pro-black man. And Sean, I wouldn't say that, because I think if you listen, Frank Worrell, Clive Lloyd, because look, Worrell, because I got to know about Worrell because of my father played on the Worrell, right?
Right.
And Worrell, I remember my father saying that 63, one evening he going to go out, and Worrell said, Baz, don't worry, man, you come up to my suite. Worrell had a fully stocked bar, because he was sponsored by Avon. So everywhere the West Indies went, the hotel, he had a suite Avon sponsored. So at the bar, so he said, man, Basil, you ain't gotta go on the road. You stay up here, man. We can talk and so on and so forth. Because, and I guess from those interactions, my father got to know Worrell because Worrell ended up being my godfather. Got to know him. And remember, Worrell lived for several years in Jamaica. And Worrell played for boys and girls. He didn't go play at Kingston Club. He didn't go play none of the big clubs. He went in the quote-unquote ghetto and played for the boys and girls club where the guy, what's his name? The one that died in the car accident with Sobers, his name escaping me right now. Anyway, he came out of that. So he was playing in the ghetto with the quote-unquote.
Collie Smith.
Collie Smith.
Yeah, Collie Smith, yes. He was playing in quote-unquote in the ghetto. So he had a good understanding. And then in terms of Clive Lloyd played and he watched what was going on. And one of the first things Clive Lloyd, if you read in his books, he said, and I heard him say it out of his mouth, but he made sure when the teams roomed, he always put 2 people from different territories.
That's right.
Because he saw the cliques that would occur. Because it's funny, one day I talking to Sir Randy, right? And I use a term we Guyanese use, gaff man. There's a man who's dark, right?
Yeah.
So Randy said, yes. He said, you probably don't even know. I know that word. And I said, how do you know the word? He said, because when I went to Australia, Fredo was my roommate. Fredo, because we all know there are nuances in the Caribbean language and so on. And if you miss a beat with that, you could offend somebody when you're trying to with them. So the more you could understand that is very important, because look, Guyana, for example, just look at Guyana. We got these 3 counties, right? And a guy from the country is not going to communicate the same way like a guy that comes from town.
Right.
And so even within the context of Guyana, I remember my father saying, you gotta understand when a country boy say XYZ, a tongue man, if you don't understand, you need to understand, because otherwise you're gonna get dissension in the team.
I remember myself, Nagamutu, and Semple. We went to a hotel in Barbados, and all of us was talking. And the people said, y'all come from the same country? Because Nagamutu spoke in Creolese, and Semple spoke like a proper manner, and I spoke normal. So they didn't understand that all of us came from the same country, even though we were in the same country.
Yeah, but let me just say something about, this is a special program. This is what I want people to understand. Basil Butcher Jr. would have had a lot of wisdom and knowledge and the understanding of the game handed down by his father, who's now deceased. Right? Marley Richards is here now today, could expound a lot of the things that Sir Vivian Richards would have told him. Because we don't document things, you know. It's a sad thing, you know. I would have sat down with the late Sir Conrad Hunt, because he got the contract for me in South Africa, and I talked to him, and I was in awe. I was talking to Sir Conrad Hunt at the airport and asking him some questions. I said, but why wouldn't you the captain after Sir Frank Worrell? It's amazing, you know. So we must document all these things, because we must have a sense of our history. The bad thing is that we have a starting over syndrome, because a lot of the young people don't know anything about our past greats.
Basil, were you here when we had Alvin Kaieteur on the program?
Yeah, we had a great discussion.
Some people were telling me that we strayed away from the actual cricket and we went into the historical part of it. When you have Alvin Kaieteur, that's what you do.
Yes, exactly. Because look, I when I was 9 years old, I used to go with my father from 9 years old to go and watch trial matches at Bordeaux. And I would be sitting down right in front with all the selectors and all of them talking. A lot of things I didn't understand, right? But I'm hearing the discussion. And as I got older and I started to understand the game more, all those things started to make sense what I was hearing as a child, you know, and having to be like the fly on the wall. And Mali, this would resonate with Mali, being the fly on the wall, and all these great cricketers discussing the game, and you sit up there quiet and you're listening, and as you get older, you see something. Oh, that's what they was talking about. That's what they was talking about.
This generation don't listen. They like to talk, or they go away. Soon the match is finished, and the team meeting finished, they don't stay. I learned so much from the dressing room with listening to Mr. Rex Moore and those guys.
My father always used to say this: 99% of the cricket I learned was in the dressing room. And I always tell this story. Me and my father, the very first time he ever seen Chanderpaul bat in the President's 11 match, Chanderpaul make a 3. And we walking out the border, going home to catch a translate and go home. And he turned to me as we walked out the gate and he said to me, that chap Chanderpaul is a damn good batsman. I looked at him. I said, what? The mom He said, no, skipper. He said, I saw a ball slow up on Chanderpaul. I know the fancy word we use today, keep your shape. He said he got into proper position and played a corner. He said that is a mark of a good batsman.
Well, the first time I saw Chanderpaul was at DCC. He was about 9. We were playing on the 19 match. Colin Court, who you all know, was bowling at him. And I was at slip. And I'm saying that I don't like to see blood. And Chandra Paul came in at about 10, number 10 in the order, with a pillow as a side protector. And he batted 15 overs. He made about 10. But that was the doggedness. I realized that he would become a top-class batsman who'd never give away his wicket. From that day.
The first time I played against Lara, I mean, I knew Lara growing up in Harvard Cricket Club, but I came back from England. My first county season, I think it was it was second county season, doing well in county cricket for Surrey, and came back. We had a trial match, and Lara was involved in a trial match. And I said, this little left-hander, small, so I remember running and bowled some fast balls. Boy, he was clipping the ball, he was getting behind the line of the ball, and he was getting me angry. Decided to bowl 1 or 2 short balls, and he was ducking under it. So I said, well, this man, the temperament, you see it from early, You see the elite batsman from early. Certain nuances, you see, certain approaches, the way they held their nerves under pressure from an early stage. And Sean was making mention that the psyche of the young players have changed significantly because of the use of technology. They don't listen again, they don't interact they don't really respect the elders, they respect their peers.
Yeah.
Because the technology has spoiled them.
Yeah, because Tony, what I wanted to say, the story, when I tell this story, I'm trying to illustrate those guys of that ilk. They could see things live that me and I'll tell you, Sir Andy, just tell me when we talk, he would tell me something. And he said, go and check the video. I go back and look at the video, and I got to slow it down, slow motion. And then I would say, yes, this we see now. He's seeing this live game, could pick up these little things. That's why, and I would always tell him, and I would say this to him, that's why guys like you are so important to be around young cricketers, because you could see, and now today we have the technology of the video. You could now go to the video and back it up to see what they're telling you. You see, because they would see something like I have this thing when I ask about batters, how quality a batter was. One of the first set of people I go to is the men who have to bowl to them, right? Because if you got to out a guy, you got to out a guy, you gonna know everything about the guy, the quality of the guy, and I asked Randy, like any player of the era that he played against, and then we talk, I would ask him about the batter. How good was that batter? Because he would got a whole library about what this batter could do and what the batter couldn't do, was field placing and all those things. That's why it's important. Those guys have to be around. It was that used to be part and parcel of the development of our players that have been taken out of our cricket. And I feel the administrators of today don't understand how to bring those guys and put them in the positions where they can have an effect.
And Clive Lloyd was telling me that Malcolm Marshall was the computer of the West Indies team before they had analysts. He looked at something and he remembered it. Malcolm Marshall.
But I can tell you, Sir Randy's the same way.
That's the critical thinking ability. Now, the thing about it is that in those days, you don't have to depend on technology. So there's a dependency syndrome on technology, and that's why on the games itself, when the game is unfolding, a lot of the young players cannot think because they have no critical thinking ability.
Yes.
I mean, Sir Andy Roberts, I mean, he talk about hurdles being used now. He used to use boxes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? You talk about hurdles now, which is the way that we do things as coaches.
Yes.
We have hurdles, we have nice cones and that sort of thing. But
Exactly.
also, my question to Basil and Mali and you, Sean, is that cones, to me, when I coach the West Indies B team with little Larry Joseph and these things, I try to minimize cones, because you don't have cones in the wicket when the game is unfolding.
Mali, you know what is ball and socks? Mali,
I think.
you know what is ball and socks?
Yeah.
No, just a minute, just hold on, Sean. I think that a lot of times we don't use our natural senses. Malcolm Marshall did not go to work with growing up.
No,
Guyana
Tony,
didn't have to go to work with.
Tony, I agree with you 100%. Because I don't use, when I worked with bowlers and I said I want you to bowl the length that you're going to hit top or off stump, I'm not putting no cones down. Because when you go in a match, you as a bowler, I'm coaching you to have the skill that you can make the adjustment based on the pitch. You can make the adjustment based on who is batting also, because a batter tall, a batter a shorter levers, etc. All those things you have to be able to do. Not got cones, because no cones don't be on the pitch when the game starts. You gotta be able to you have to be able. Look, Shane Warne, one of the great things about Shane Warne, after 1 over, Shane Warne worked out which balls was gonna work today on this type of pitch. That's where you want to get your bowler's skill up to. That's work. Right. It's the same thing like a batter getting himself in, getting the bounce and pace. The same way a bowler got to make adjustments to the condition and understand what in his armory is going to work today.
And get a mental picture too, because Sir Curtly Ambrose, I used Sir Curtly Ambrose when I coach. I mean, he used to walk down and watch the pitch.
Correct.
He used to walk down and watch the pitch to know what lengths and lines that he'd bowling before the game started. So you're getting a mental picture. You're using your mind instead of using cones.
Locking in on an area. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, the things, that's why...
Hey, Baz, before you go quick, I have to go, but let me say it's been an absolute pleasure being on this program.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Great
Mali,
and Don.
I'm sorry
to get
into the women's team because you there commentating.
Yeah, man. Spoke about the women's team.
I know you've been watching.
No, unfortunately, Mali, they're fucking we in the US, man. We can't get cricket.
Okay.
So all I've been able to see was the highlights. I hope the next match they lift the block on the YouTube that we in the US can get to watch the games.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. A great show, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mali, thanks for coming.
Yes.
Bye.
The first half of the program we spent talking about the women's cricket. Because Mali was right there. We spoke about Grimon and all of that. Let's start now our final minutes. Who do you expect to be in the semi-finals? Well, England has already qualified.
England's already in. I could say South Africa. I expect to see South Africa in the semi-finals. On the other side over there, with
New Zealand,
Pakistan, and New Zealand, there's a real toss-up between them 3 teams there. I would tend to give the edge to New Zealand to be the second team coming through from that group. But Sri Lanka is still playing in their home conditions, right? So that would be interesting. But West Indies, I did not think West Indies would make it to the semifinals, but I don't think this India team is that formidable. Although they have a couple of serious cricketers, particularly on the bowling side. Batting to me is where they're lacking, because if you get Sky out, to me, the India batting lineup will fall to pieces without Sky, and so I would like to give West Indies a good chance to get into the semis. Also coming out of the group, so West Indies and South Africa, and England and probably New Zealand, because I have no faith in Pakistan. I mean, if you are Pakistan fans, they probably got green. If you're probably 35, you probably got green hair.
Yeah, well, my thing is that I think that West Indies will make it to the semi-final. And remember, Basil, I said that in a previous program.
Oh yes, I know
I said that West Indies will make it.
You and Spooner, the two of y'all picked them.
Right.
Y'all came out of the block calling semi-finals.
Yeah, so. we have too much of match winners, first of all, right? And obviously we got the bowling going right. The spinners are bowling exceptionally well. We have one or two pacers who can get wickets at opportune times. I think that definitely West Indies and South Africa. I don't think that India is going to make it. The net run rate is so poor at the moment. So the match has to be, they have to come up trumps in a big way. In addition to that, home advantage for them is home disadvantage. The way the Sri Lankans spent force, in my opinion, at this moment in the tournament. So I think that New Zealand and England, England made it to the semifinals already. New Zealand, South Africa, and West Indies are the other three to join England in the semifinals.
I would tend to go with that because if India, it gets to where West Indies playing India for that semifinal spot, it will be the pressure of 1 billion people on this team. And they ain't got the shoulders of the Kohlis and Sharmas and them guys. That pressure don't fit them.
Pressure.
Right? So that's an additional thing for this younger Indian team under a captain that is not as experienced. He got experience.
And then a coach that have lost a lot of test matches recently in India.
Yeah, I mean,
combination of things.
India losing in India has become the norm these days.
And Thursday morning matches, the West Indies, South Africa, that's a big encounter.
Exactly.
But I have West Indies winning that match. It's going to be a tough fight though. And India and Zimbabwe has to decimate. India has to decimate Zimbabwe to bring up their run rate. So it's not looking good for India. And I was saying earlier on the program that it's going to be easier to beat India than South Africa. I was saying that from day one.
As I said earlier, Sean, when you look at all the permutations, India is rooting hard for South Africa to beat West Indies, because then it becomes as simply about winning a game against West Indies to go to semifinals. No net run rate, nothing. Is win or go home, right? And as a competitor, that's what you want. You don't want to deal with permutation.
Yeah.
And to me, as a fan, I'd rather see that than run rates and all kind of stupidness. Let me win or go home, right? Oh gosh.
And that's how Zimbabwe got into the Super 8s, because that washout match, they got a point.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it too.
And they knocked out Pakistan, and they knocked out the US.
Yeah, the arrogance of the West, arrogance of India, it would be so sweet.
Yeah.
To send them home packing.
All right, that is all we have time for.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Tony Gray. Thank you, Mr. Basil Butchers Jr. And of course, I want to say thank you to Mali Richards. He's doing a good job in Grenada, covering the West Indies Women's Series against Sri Lanka. And of course, our top technical man. Good night to everybody. And if you can be good, then be careful.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, Qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Cleaning power like no other. Mighty Foam dishwashing liquid cuts through grease and grime every time. Lemon zest, green apple, citrus burst, and wild berry. 4 great fragrances specially formulated with super cleaning, grease-fighting power. Mighty Foam Dishwashing Liquid works hard to get your dishes spotless and is gentle on your hands. Available nationwide.
Finger licking good, yeah, yeah. Got we in the mood for sharing. Come and join the party at KFC. Get a zing a sandwich, I take a bite. It's the best flavor, best vibes. Get a bucket with your friends, pass it to the left. And have the best time of your life. Finger licking good, yeah, yeah. Got we in the mood for sharing. Come and join the party at KFC, at KFC.
Surprise your family today with a nice vanilla flavored cake made with Maid Marian cake flour. It's perfect for the birthday, anniversary, special occasion, or just celebrating the joy of having your family together. So get a pack or 2 of Maid Marian cake flour to make that moist, fluffy, vanilla flavored sponge cake, donut shaped cakes, Swiss rolls, and other delicious baked goods. Bring on the smiles with Maid Marian cake flour. Made and packaged not by hand by Nomilco, the national milling company of Guyana.
National Milling Company of Guyana.
It's here! Igloo Ice Cream Fruit Bars. 4 mouth-watering flavors. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and soursop. A beautiful combination of real fruit and igloo ice cream. Go old school with fluty popsicle. Classic flavors and refreshing goodness. Available at Igloo outlets and all your favorite shops.